Okay, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, you're welcome to yet another session today. As usual, we'll be going through the the different pairs for the week, just to have a week, the outlook for what this week is gonna be like. And last week wasn't for me wasn't entirely great. Like we've had some very exciting weeks, but last week was really, really great for me. I think because of this silly pair, this USDGPY, that came in and picked me out again. But it's all good. We would always make it back. That's always the idea. If you lose in one particular trade, you can always make it back from another trade. The most important thing is to be properly risk managed, not to over leverage. Don't put in too much in your one position. Don't put the whole of your accounts to one position, and make sure you always have a stop loss in your trade. That way you're protected at every time. Like I always say, your stop loss is like an angel that protects you from every kind of um, um, eventualities in the market. So as usual, we're going to start with USD, Euro USD, and but before then, I always tend to forget this. I need us to look at the what the news is going to be like for the week, because remember, we if there is news releases, that is one of the ways that we can be sure of liquidity in the market. If there are no news releases, it's when we will find that the market will be quite slow. So part of being a good trader is to be able to marry your fundamentals and your technicals, because you can't just depend on fundamentals alone. You can't just depend on the technicals alone. Both of them have to work hand in hand. So we just need to look at what's happening in the market to know how to channel our trades. So starting from Sunday night, Sunday night from 11 p.m. Bear in mind, I'm using GMT. Let me change the time to make sure that it's aligning properly. Yep, 10, 10:05 calendar. So for some of us that do not know how to get to this place, it's real simple. Just go to Forex Factory. Some people use investing.com. It's really the same thing. So when you get there, what you're looking for is a calendar. When you get your calendar, it shows you, if you are not sure if you don't have or if you know your time zones, just come on here, click this time here, and then change it to your to your time zone. If you are in the Pacific time zone, this may be yours. If you're in the Central time zone, this is if you're on the Eastern, this is yours. So just change it accordingly to just align with your time zone. So I'm on GMT, so that's why I'm using this one. So on Sunday, what date is that? On Sunday, 20th of May, the first news we're going to be seeing is the NZD news. Although we don't trade NZD pairs, but I know some of us on the platform that just trade news. So this may be your first trade for the week. So just look to trade that if you want to. The strategies that you use. Just you can use that. And for some of us that don't trade news, but also we trade after the news releases, this is a good place to set in some orders, and probably catch some 10 to 20 pips or 50 pips, whatever the market releases. But me, I don't trade Sundays, and I trade less on Mondays. Speaking about Monday, if you look at your Monday, the news, we have a lot of bank holidays, happening. So it's gonna be a very slow Monday. I have Chef bank holiday. That's the Swiss bank holiday. We have the Euro French bank holiday. We have which other one? The Canadian bank holiday. So it's just gonna be quite a slow Monday. So, but where we start seeing moves will be on Tuesday at least, because we'll start seeing GBP movements 10 a.m. my time. So there are certain pairs that we're looking at, that we're trying to anticipate good movements, as the GBP CAD and GBP AUD. Those two pairs are the ones I'm really looking at. So Tuesday you have one news 10 a.m. Inflation report hearings. Then on Wednesday you have, like I said, I'm using my GMT, so you might want to check out what those time are in your time zone, CST or EST. Then Wednesday we have a couple of news releases. We have the AUD news. It should be able to move our GBP AUD out of where it is at this point in time. Then by 30 minutes after, we have another one. So hopefully, if this moves up 100 pips, hopefully this will move up another 100 pips. So that's just going to help us. But if for some reason this goes one direction, and then this could correct it. So just see what the market does. But if we trade news, naturally, just put in your orders in and then take advantage of that. Then by 7 p.m., we have USD news as well. We also have one by 3 p.m. So Wednesday is just going to be a really good day to trade. Then Thursday also offers some good movements. Would offer some good movements as well. GBP news. We have a Euro news as well, and 9 o'clock and 9:30 we have 2 GBP news, and then by 12 p.m., 12:30 p.m. we have the Euro news. Again, this data time hasn't been confirmed yet, so but we still have another news for that day. Maybe have another news for that day, Thursday. Then Friday we have much more news again, GBP news. So this week is just going to be really all about GBP. So it's really good for us, because we're really looking to trade GBP pairs this week. GBP CAD, GBP odd, and then GBP USD for DD as well. And then that's it for the week. And then also we know that presently the dollar has just been climbing. So we had that move, we had that correction, and now it's moving again. So I am of the opinion that based on what I'm seeing right now, I'm thinking that this might be a head and shoulder trying to form here. So that fall correction, and then that drop again, and then after that you saw it meet this structure here. Sorry, this low level here at this point, this resistance, and it's not able to break it. And what happened? It went back up, and as you can see, it's going back towards that what's it called? That structure level. So it'd be interesting to see it drop back to this level. That's a massive drop. If you're going to enter any GBP pairs, you need to be careful, so you don't get caught in that drop that will be coming down if it's going to do a head and shoulder. So if it does that, I would say wait for it to finish this. It has about 126 pips remaining. So if you want to look for a good entry on the lower time frame, the H4 or the H1, you could use that, scalp that. Otherwise wait for it to get to that level, that structure level, and see what's going to do. If it doesn't form the head and shoulder that it's going to form, then you'll be sure to take it to the top, and that would be how many pips? That would be about 200 and almost 290 pips, which is good enough. So patience is good. So that's for the USD pairs, USD JPY, USD JPY, USD CAD, USD chef, and every one of those USD pairs, and also pairs where the USD is the quote, like GBP USD. That as well would have some good impact. You have which other one there? Euro USD. So just be on the lookout. So now on our pairs, first of all, starting with the Euro USD, you know how we roll. We start with identifying the low of the pairs. Where is the market at this point in time? Just identify the lows. excuse me, identify the lows, identify the highs, the markets, and then work from there. So this is where the market is at this point in time. So what this is saying is that market is pretty much going to be moving between these two places. If it does break this place, then we know that it's definitely coming lower than that, and the next key level might be seeing maybe this place. Why is that a key level? Because although it's all scattered all over the space, I don't like seeing this kind of movements in the market. This is an example of what they call a consolidation. Remember, Adrian was showing us consolidation the other day. So this is an example of what it is. It's no clear up movement or clear down movement, but it's all good. But if you go back, you would see that that level is a useful level because price is hovering around it. So that's telling us that it's a key level to put into consideration all these levels. Yep. So, but that said, if you go down to your lower time frames, you will see some really good levels that you can trade on. Because right now we are on the weekly time frame. But just look at this within the week. This is not within the week, within several weeks. This is maybe where the price will be trading within. So if it breaks above, then it's going, maybe somewhere higher than that, probably somewhere around here. But for now, I'm not sure this is going to go this far in the next few weeks. So let's just keep things simple. So I'm going to bring it down to the daily now, just to have an idea of where the market is in the daily time frame. So yeah, one thing I also do, me, I like to use rectangles just to pretty much put things in perspective, because I know that market, it's not a line per se, it could be a zone. So this is just to capture the zone where price has gotten to, or where price will be getting to. So that's how I do it, because it may not necessarily get to that line that you have created. It may just be in that zone before it makes its move, either turning back or breaking it or whatever it wants to do. But like I said, price is never a line. It's more a zone, it's more a level, because everybody else is also looking at that level. So yours may be 0.33, or someone else may be 0.38. Yep, so that's it. Now, remember we had this as a consolidation at one point, waiting for this to break out. And when it broke out, we were waiting for that drop either to the downside or to the upside. So it managed to drop to the downside, but it's all good. So what we're now waiting for now is for price to do what? To reject this zone and go back up. That's what we're expecting, either to do that or to break below and to drop down. And we know how we roll. We don't just jump into trades. We want to see some form of confirmation in the market before we take the trade. Confirmation can come in form of an engulfing candle, come in form of a flag, come in form of a harmonic patterns, come in form of a candlestick patterns. It will come in form of candlestick patterns. Maybe like you see some like a head and shoulder, a double bottom, what have you. So all of those are confirmations for us to trade the markets. We don't just jump into the market. So right now, what am I looking for here right now? I want to see price reject this place. If I go down to my lower time frame, I would see some more levels to watch. Like now, going down, I already see this as a level. Yeah, I already see something like this as a level. Why do I call it a level? Because price got to that area and then had a reaction. Like if it came here, it just kept hovering over this place, broke it, retested, then dropped to this level. Then what did you see it do? It jumped back where? To the previous level it was. So that is a structure there, and then what did it do? it broke down. And when it broke down, what did it do? Came back and retested it and then fell. And when it fell, where did it get to? A level down here. So what am I looking for right now? I'm looking for some form of confirmation, maybe like a flag to form here. So a flag, I'm looking for a flag to form here. So why am I looking for that flag? Because I want to buy it to the upside now. So I want to see something like this, maybe like a flag, something like this, or maybe like a triangle, a pennant, or what have you. From this movement. So it could, as it's come up now, it could be forming some small candles to the side as an example of a flag, or it could want to reject again and start coming down again. So whatever confirmation, that's number one. So you trade it to the upside. That's one thing you can do. Or the next thing you would want to see, if not a flag, or a pennant, is an engulfing candle, a bullish engulfing candle. And what does a bullish engulfing candle look like? Let me see if I can find one for you here. Okay, let me explain that first. Let's say this is a bearish candle. Yep. A bullish engulfing candle will be a candle that will be something like this, whereby the body of that candle, this candle, is lower than the body of this particular one. So the body of this candle is lower than, so it engulfs this particular candle. Yep. So an example of an engulfing candle, a bullish engulfing candle, would be this candle right here. Why? Because what can you see? It fully engulfs the body of this candle. Another one would be if I was gonna sell this market, I'm looking for an engulfing candle. There's nothing that gives me an engulfing candle on this side. Where's my first engulfing candle? This guy right here. Why? Because it fully engulfs this candle. It always has to be on the opposite of the other candle. Let's say this was a red candle and we're trying to buy the market. This has to be a green candle and it has to be fully engulfing this red candle. So if I was to buy this market, this would have been an engulfing candle. Why? Because as you can see, this is a red candle and this one is totally engulfing this one to the upside. Take that to the upside. If I was to sell this market, this would have been a good engulfing, a good trade to take engulfing candle. Like I said, the body must be fully engulfing the previous candle, and the previous candle has to be an opposite color candle. It doesn't necessarily have to be a large candle like this before we call it an engulfing candle. As long as it engulfs, it's large enough to engulf the previous candle, the body of the previous candle, then that's a good one. This was another example of an engulfing candle. I wouldn't have taken this trade. Why wouldn't I have taken this trade? Why? Because it's on a level. It's on a key level. It's on a key support level. So I wouldn't have taken it. I wait for it to be clear. This is an engulfing candle, a bearish engulfing candle. As you can see, it fully engulfs this candle, the body of this candle. And although if I took it, I probably would have won the trade, but I wouldn't have known that this would be a winning trade. So I have to trade with my trading plan, and my trading plan says I never take a trade, jump into a trade that is at a key. Either as at a support on or resistance. For instance, if the only thing I can do with this trade, I can buy this trade if I'm trying to enter early enough, and put my stop loss. But I can't assume to sell this trade, especially if I haven't seen it broken out, And so it's an engulfing candle, but I have to wait for this to break out and probably form another candle. You see? Can let this form another candle, and I can jump in and trade it. I don't ever jump on this candle because I'm seeing an engulfing candle and I jump in. No. Number one, I have to bear in mind that it is at a. So that could be an aggressive entry, could be me waiting. I have to wait for this to finish forming, this particular candle. Let it finish forming, and then you can enter on the next candle. And finish forming means it has to close below that level. If you want to take that risk anyway, let it close below that level. Remember, it's called an aggressive entry. Let it close below that level, and then enter on the next candle. Then ride it to the next level. or the only other thing you can do is to wait for it to finish forming, come down, break out, and come back and retest it. Then you could have entered on this one. Entered when it came back to retest here, then you jump in, then ride it to the next level. So there are different ways to have taken that. So that's what I mean by an engulfing candle. So for this particular trade right here, this wasn't supposed to be a teaching session. It was actually supposed to be. Okay, I have a call now. Wonder who the person is. That's all good. I'll attend to it later. So for this particular trade right here, what am I waiting for? I'm waiting to take this back to the upside. Like I said, there are levels here. This could be levels for you to maximize your profit. So, but if this goes back up, that's going to give us a whooping 300 plus pips. Yeah. So that means you can actually look at things on the lower time frame and find good entries, like I said. So this is a point for you to enter. You could let this finish forming since it's already started. Then when it comes here, either if it breaks above, comes back to retest, or you can wait for a bullish engulfing candle to close above this or to form it, and then you can jump into that next level. So this would be another one of your levels that you can trade, or you can even bring things down to this smaller 1 hour time frame just to scalp. If you want to scalp, for some of us that scalp, then look for the smaller levels. But bear in mind that the lower you go in a trade, in a particular pair, the noisier it becomes. You start seeing much more levels than you would normally see on your higher time frame. So unless you're scalping, you don't have any business having to put in too many levels in, which means if you go to this small, if I go down to this 15 minutes time frame, and I'm going to see a lot of levels, but I don't want to have too many levels, but because that your higher time frames give you a full picture of what the market is and what the market is going to do, where it is actually going. So you want to capture the full picture. So even though things move, up and down in the smaller time frame, you already know where the market is going. So you're not faced by that. And also, you know that you are properly risk managed. You have your stop loss in place. So as long as it hasn't come back to hit your stop loss, you're still good in the play. So for me, I would stay within these two zones, because you can see clearly it broke out of it, it retested, and then it just kept doing lower highs and lower lows, and then at the end of the day, it dropped to this level, bounced back to this level. Remember that chart I gave you, the GCAT trade. That is all you need. You've already identified the two levels. There are no many fake outs in this one. So it jumped up, and then what did it do? Dropped back, broke this level, retested, and then dropped. Although kind of went back there, but then it didn't come to hit your stop loss. Where would you have put your stop loss? This would have been your stop loss right here, your previous low high. Sorry, this would have been your stop loss. So it never came back to your stop loss. So you just let it play. Once it comes here, hit your TP, you allow it to go. Wait to see what it's going to do. Either you trade it back up by getting a good entry, or you let it break above, if it's going to break above, and then you trade to the upper level, or you can just scalp within these two levels if that's what the market is doing. But this is where price is at this point in time. Yep. So this is the full picture of price now. We are here. It did that higher high and higher low, higher high, higher low. Then it got here, got into a channel, and then broke down. So now I am of the opinion that it's going to keep dropping. It's going to keep coming back. Now, also bear in mind demand and supply. You know what demand and supply is. So this was a key demand zone. So it's come back now to that demand zone to test it. So it may jump back up, or it may break and come down to this next demand zone. Yep. So just look at this, have this at the back of your mind, that this is what this guy is doing. So what if you want to trade the downside, you have to let it break out and then let it retest. You can do that's what it did here. See, broke out. So if you go to your smaller time frame, you see that retest, and then you can trade it to the downside. Just follow what the price has been doing. It's been doing the same thing this pair. Or if you want to do aggressive trading, let it break out and then look for a bearish engulfing candle to break this and close below, and then you can enter on the next trade. Or you can enter once you see a bearish engulfing candle forming. Or it really depends on you. Or you can enter once you see a flag, or you can enter once you see a pennant, or if it forms a head and shoulder or a double top, whatever pattern or whatever strategy you want to use to take a trade, you can take it. There's so many different strategies that are available just to be able to take this trade. Then you can write it down to this next level. Like I said, today is more of an outlook class, So yep, that's Euro USD. I said I have an hour to do this, so I'm going to try to do this within 1 hour, so the video is not too long. So the next one, so I'm going to just do the key ones, So, but if you're here and you want me to look at anyone specifically, just let me know, and I would give it a look at. So you know how we'll start. We first of all go to the weekly, identify the lowest point, the price. I don't really need to come this low anyway, but we're just gonna identify it. This was a really good market because it's just up and down, up and down. So right now I've identified the lowest point of the market. I've identified the highest point of this market. Yep. And clearly, if you can see what I'm seeing, it was a clear double top. It was a very fantastic trade. It was a clear double top. Okay. It was a clear double top. So if we had entered from this top right, that would have been massive. Some of us really caught this. Some of us have traded this pair when it started, and so far this trade pair has dropped 900 plus pips, which is good, but it still has more to drop. So identify the highest point of the trade, identify the lowest point where it is, and then some other levels that I can find as the market forms. So I can see some level, I can see some structural level, some support and resistance levels. And bear in mind, I'm on the weekly time frame, so if it looks as if there are too many lines, they aren't, because when you drive down to the lower time frame, you will see that there are really not that many lines after all. Some of these gaps are about 200 to 400 pips apart. So let's come down to the smaller time frame now. So right now you can see clearly what price is doing. See, this is where we are. This is where price is at this point. It's a very key sweet level. That price, we love consolidations. We love consolidations. We love ranges, because we know that after a range we would see breakouts, and breakouts nice. So that's where price is, and I can see another level here. That's GBP USD. So another level here. So I know that if this guy breaks out of here, it's coming down here, so it's going to give me not too many pips, but good enough for the day. That's a whooping 153 pips, which is good enough. Then if it breaks that, we know that it's coming to the next level. There are not many levels, resistance level and support levels here. So the next one we have after this one is this one. So the reason why you want to take a trade, and then don't be afraid to let it run, because if it's gonna go to where it's gonna go. So another thing I also want to look at is let me bring this. If you can see a trend forming, change the color of this. Look at this. You see that? As a good trend there. That's just to tell you that indeed that this price is on its way down. It's broken this trend. It was going up, kept bouncing off this trend line, but at the end of the day it broke it, came back down now, and then broke it. So right now, remember what I always say, that price normally gives you a reversal pattern. before it reverses. So it kept going up, and then what did it do? It gave you a reversal pattern. A double top is a reversal pattern. A head and shoulder is a reversal pattern. A V neck, or I don't know what they call it now. That neck, that an A is also I say V neck, a V bottom, V bottom is a reversal pattern, and A kind of top is a reversal pattern as well. So right now we have a reversal pattern, and this thing is telling us it's coming down. It's already made 900 plus move down. So what we're expecting is for this to probably keep coming down. So if this happens, if it decides to keep coming down, then we again just wait to see like a breakout, a retest. It needs to retest or pull back, then drop to this level. So again, what are we looking for in this trade to be able to trade? What kind of confirmation are we looking for in this trade? Let me make that bigger, a bit bigger. Hopefully it's just that because okay, so what kind of confirmation are we looking for? We're looking for a breakout or retest. First a breakout or a retest, and then we can enter. Or a breakout, a flag. You know what a flag is? Well, you know what a flag is. Or a breakout, a pennant. Or a breakout, some form of double top, double top here, or some form of head and shoulder. And some of us already know how to use harmonic patterns. We can see that also happening. And then if we want to do an aggressive entry, look for a bearish engulfing candle, breaking out and then closing above. If it closes above, then you can take a trade on the next candle. That's aggressive. It means that if you enter from this point, even though it comes back here, you won't really, the drawdown won't be that great. But if you enter at this point, the drawdown will be great if it comes back. So always look to enter a trade from the beginning of the move. From the beginning, how would you do that? When you see it breaks out and comes back there, then you can enter. Or you enter from where, if you're sure it's going to keep coming down, because sometimes it could fake out, so let it, like what happened here, it broke out, but it didn't close below it, so it went back in and then went that way. So if at all you're going to enter this is where you would put your stop loss, because this is the previous low, previous high. So this was where you will put your stop loss. This is an aggressive stop loss. If you want to be a bit more, conservative, you can take it here or here. But your stop loss are always normally your previous high or your previous low. So I would put mine here, and then see what it's just gonna do. There's no crime if it stops you out. It's okay. If a trade stops you out on your stop loss, it's fine, because remember, you're not starting with a standard loss size. You're starting with a small loss size just to test the waters. So if I get stopped out, I just wait to get a better entry. I know that if it broke out, it's definitely going to break out at some point. It's not going to be in a channel forever. It's not going to be in a consolidation forever. So I wait to get a better entry, because I'm going to make back what I've lost. If it stops me out, it's probably going to be a few pips. It'll be £2 or $2 or whatever, or $3, whatever it is that you entered the market with. So that's that one. Then if that doesn't hold, doesn't come down, then we know that it's probably going to go back up and probably either test this trend line. But then I wouldn't have a reason to counter trend this. I'll just let it do its move, because right now I feel it's on a downtrend, it's going down, so I will not begin to trade this unless I want to just counter trend. I get a good entry and I want to counter trend. If I'm going to trade this, I'll just have to wait till it breaks key highs somewhere around here. Right now you can identify some highs, some lows, maybe somewhere here, somewhere here. Let me see to be sure that it's coinciding with what I have. Okay, other ones. So these are all levels that you can play with, on your lower time frame, 1 hour time frame, or what have you. So just wait for the market to break these highs, then you can always trade it to the upper um, time, I mean, to the higher levels. So, yep, so some highs. Yeah, normally my charts are normally not this busy, but I just want to explain something. So you need to see it break some major highs, so it's not a pullback. So if it comes back, and I know that because this was a trend line, yeah, I would always expect this to come back and retest that, before dropping. But if some retest could be just coming back and retest the nearest high that that it broke out of. So you could just do that before dropping, but it's all good. I only always get a confirmation before I enter anyway. So I would only enter this if I get a confirmation, maybe it break out of this trend to the upper side, then I can trade it. But right now I won't really bother about this breakout, except if I'm on the smaller time frame. I just want to scalp, then I can just look for smaller levels to take my 40, 50 pips or wherever I can, whatever I can get in those trades right here, So come down to your smaller time frame, and then look for smaller levels. I don't like when they are like this because you can't really see unless you start scrolling. Okay, this could be levels to look for in your smaller time frame. Or what when you say still not working for you, what do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean? Can you explain? TK, do you want to speak? TK, do you want to speak? Do you want to say something? Huh? Hello. Okay, maybe she doesn't want to say. Okay. You can message me later so I can explain. Let me know what you mean. Let me know what you mean. Okay. So these are some levels. You know, as you can see. Okay, there's a touch on this area. There's a touch here, touch here. So this could be levels that you can look to trade, jump in, see price come out and retest. Then you can take your TP here, and then when it breaks out again and retest, take your TP here. So in all, this may be a good 100 pips or thereabout. Okay, so 150, 57 pips. So, but then get a good entry before you can take this. It's quite difficult on because right now you can't really see things to the left. But since you've already identified the lines where price got to in the previous in the past, those may be your target zones. So, yep, I've identified my target. So if I want to take this on the smaller time frame, I do that. I wait for breakout. I know that once you blow this up, it's be difficult to look at the left, but that's why you have identified these zones. So nothing is really keeping it. Yep. Okay, this is another high here. So you also want to put that into consideration when you want to trade this one. So wait for it to break above this one, then you can trade it to this level. Wait for it to break above this level, then you can trade it to that level. So that's really how we do it. As long as price breaks above, and you know that you always have to use your stop loss because sometimes it could be a fake out. So that's why if it breaks above and you get a good confirmation to enter the trade, you enter the trade but put a stop loss in place just in case it's a fake out. Unfortunately, you won't know which one is going to be a fake out or which one is not going to be a fake out. That's why you protect yourself and not over leverage. Yep. So your first entries must always be a low lot size. Then you can test the water and see whether it's going to go in your direction. If you're looking to bring in 100 pips, yep, there's no problem if you start with a 0.01. Then your second level you could start from a 0.05, or 0.02. Then if it keeps going, look for another level to enter a larger lot size, or maybe your larger lot size will be on your second level, then your third level you could do another smaller lot size. Just compound, but never over leverage. Okay, so that's GBP USD. So I'm looking for this to break to the downside and then drop how many pips? drop about 150 pips, and if it keeps going, I know we have. Why it's not working? Okay, maybe. Okay, she means audio. Okay. If she's not able to pick the audio, maybe she might have to catch the recording. Okay. So but if you have any question, please just send it to the platform. I would be more than glad to give you an audience. So now, USD Chef. I don't know if this is a pair I should look at, but okay, let me, for the benefit of some, I don't know if we trade this. I don't want to spend time. Let me look at the pairs that we trade much more. So GBP odd, no, not this one. I'll put a fresh one. Or GBP card is fresh. Okay, this is fresh. GBP card. So again, start with where price is. So first of all, you do this. Yep, I don't really need this level at this point in time because it's still far away from where price is. I need this level. Oops, sorry about that. I need this key level that I saw here. I need this key level that I saw, because these are places where price turned back at. You understand what I mean? This is where price had some reaction, maybe rejection, like it rejected here and then see it come tumbling down. So have reactions here, you know. Okay, so a reaction here. Okay, what else? Here too. You can see what I see. I see that, see that, see that, see that. Then maybe here. Yep. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, so you can see these are all zones the price played. See this one as well. You can see it clearly. Price just stayed here, hasn't been able to. It wasn't even able to break this in a long time. Let me see what now finally happened. I think it finally broke it, but it hasn't even been able to come back to it since it broke up. It never broke it. Sorry, it never broke it. Sorry, it faked out here, but and then it's been playing with it. So it's a major resistance level. Price hasn't been able to come back to. Let's look at it on the monthly. Yep. So it's a major resistance level. Yeah, let's say resistance, major support level. So it came all the way dropped here, and then what did you see? Just kept bouncing up and down within that level. Consolidation, you know. Yes, kept ranging within this level, and then what did it do? It broke out eventually, and then got to this level. I think I'm gonna move. Drop one more level here. I'm gonna drop one more level here. So got to this level, was not able to break it, dropped to this level, and then shot up and kept going up. Had pulled back, then kept going up, got to this level, and was not able to break that level, and then came tumbling down. So at this level right now, what did it do? Broke out. Okay, let's capture this level because we saw a retest there, which coincides with this level, you know. So that's how this whole thing works. You know, break out, retest. It will break out of his a level, retest it, see what it did, broke out, retested, and then dropped all the way to this level. So broke out, retested, drop, break out, retest, drop. Then when it did that, formed a double bottom and then went back up to retest that level that it's been before. Yeah, and then came back down. So maybe this may be coming down. But no matter what happened, again, we would only enter when we see a confirmation. So I'm going to go down to my lower time frame now to just look at what we may be dealing with. So in my daily, this is where we are at the moment. So I would be looking to trade in this there. but I would only trade it when I get a good confirmation. Right now, I can find another level, which would be this level. This is where this level is at. Of course, I can see that. You see that breakout, you see that retest, and you see that drop. So I'm waiting for price to either come back here. Price may come back here, and if it comes back here, what do you think is going to form? It's probably going to form a head and shoulder. It may come back here and then drop back and then jump back up. That's a possibility. Or it could just come back here and then drop back down. But again, I'm going to only take that trade if I see a confirmation. So right now I'm going to let this run out, because right now it's already started to move. It's already started making that move, so I'm not going to chase it. I'm just going to let it go. So I would, unless of course, like I said, if you want to scalp it, just want to go to this smaller time frame and just kind of walk the up and down. So in that case, you need to identify the different levels that is made. So I can put that in place. Put this in place right now, and then see. So because that means that if it's going up in and if it's going in here, if it's not able to break this, then it's going to be in a range. But if it breaks above it, I'm going to trade it to this upper time frame. If it breaks below it, I'm going to trade it to this level. But then before I do that, I'm going to see if I have another level here, so I don't get caught unawares. Yes, I do have another level. So it should be somewhere around here. Yep. Levels, yeah, all levels, places where price had gotten to, where price is likely to get to, areas I have to put into consideration as I'm selling and buying, where it will get to if it moves down, where it will get to if it moves up. Right now, if this price goes up, it's going to go to this level, or a whooping 185. If it comes down, it's going to come to this level, or a whooping 170, 78 pips. Yep. So I'm just gonna. What am I now looking for now? A good confirmation entry. For my good confirmation entry, it could be a break above bullish engulfing candle or something, and then a retest, and then I can enter the trade at this point. When it comes back to test that zone, then I will trade it to the upside, to where I know price is gonna get to. Yep, my stop loss, where will it be? The previous low, you guessed it, which will be this place. Okay, to do that properly. So this is where my stop loss is going to be. A little bit below the previous low is where my stop loss is going to be. Yep, then I'll wait for this to happen. Then if that happens, so price could do this again. You could see price coming back. If price does this again, I can trade here as well. Can probably look for some. What am I looking for again? The same thing, kind of like a pullback, or a bullish, bearish engulfing candle to bring me to the downside. Then I will trade it back here, and then maybe I'm anticipating a head and shoulder, an inverted head and shoulder, because of that move, that correction, that move. To the whole of this is my head, this is the left shoulder, so this may be my second left shoulder, my right shoulder, and then when this happens, I can trade it to the upside. Measured move, my measured move, the target would be, let me see, the target would be somewhere around here, which if I measure to be within, not too bad, maybe within a zone. But I can't just assume this is what is going to happen. I have to see some confirmation before I take that trade. So I'm getting this out of the way. So first things first, take price where it is at. So right now I'm waiting for a breakout there. If that doesn't happen, I know because this has already started, I won't take this trade. I'll let this trade go. If it comes back to this level, then I can take it. If it comes back to this level that I've created here, then I can take it. I can take it to the upside, for a buy, or I can wait for it to break below it, so I can take it for a sell. My levels are already in place. Yep. This one, if I take it back up from here, always try to enter from the ground. 135, 130. If I take it from here, 170, 180. So that's where we are with GBP card. But with the news that I already looked at earlier, we really were really expecting there to be a lot of GBP news today. So this that could help us with our GBP trade. Yep. So that's GBP card. So let me see GBP AUD. Okay. Again, weekly. Where's price at this point? Yep, identify that. Where has price been before? This is the lowest price had been. This is another level here. This is another level here. Why at this level? Because this is where price went, touched or got to and reversed or got to and had some form of reaction, got to and broke out of all levels that price had some reactions at. I could even identify this as a level because it is indeed a level. It's having reactions here. Like I said, on the higher time frame, they're gonna seem like you have too many lines, but when you start driving it down, they wouldn't be more than 100 pips, no more than 100 or 200 pips. So this is where price is at this point in time. What am I looking for? Again, this I will consider this. It's not being able to break out of this range. It's going up. Not particularly a range because this is where the range was before it broke out. This is where the range was. So it broke out of that range. And some of us, we remember this range. We traded this range. Yep, we traded it. When it broke out of it, it dropped all the way to this area. We took that profit and it came back up. But it's all good. Just let that play out itself. So right now, what are we waiting for? You can drive down to the lower time frame to maybe kind of keep trading within that this new thing range that is forming here, or you can wait for it to break below. Then you can take your target here. If it breaks back in here, then your target will be within this zone. But if I bring this down so that we can pretty much just see what's happening. I don't really like what this guy is doing, but it's all good. I would only enter the trade if I see a good confirmation. So let's see, is that a good level? Yes, it is indeed. Why? Because as you can see, yeah, price kept going there, kept resisting there, kind of had a fake breakout yet and then dropped back in. So yeah, so it's a good level to look at. So if this comes back to this level as it is trying to do now, because you see it came down, went up, came down, so it may bounce off this area. So it's closer to where it may even give a trading opportunity, to go back up. It's closer to where it may do that. Or if that doesn't happen, we know what is going to happen. That is going to come down. And we won't take it unless we see a confirmation that is coming down. Then we can easily jump in and take the trade. So that's that one. First, before you see this as an absolute target, try to see if there are other smaller targets in the, as you can see, it's just a range, up and down, up and down. So this is even very sweet, to be honest. Really, this area, if it breaks out of here, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna just wait till it gives me this 300 pips, for this GBP AUD. Why? Because it's a range that it's been in before. So it's probably it's more a demand zone, and it's more a demand zone because you can see that big candle jumping out of it. Yep. So this zone here, I can really see this as a zone to a demand zone to watch. So if you want to trade this, you can give it a look at. Yep. That if it breaks to the downside, it breaks to the downside. Otherwise, these are your zones. Okay. AUD USD. There's another pair. No, Adrian likes this pair, so I'm going to look at this one. You can see that double top at this point happened and then dropped to the downside. But this was one of those beautiful pairs that I called some months back, and we won big on it. We entered when it was at this point. I think we entered when it was at this point. Did we? Can't remember now. We brought it down, and then it went back up, and then I can't remember now. But we entered from the very, very top. So let me see now. Identify where price is at this point. Where price is going to. Let me see. I want to do this. Okay. I usually don't like pairs that have too many low supports and too many resistances. So right now we're on the weekly. Let's see what the daily has in store for us. So right now we had fake outs with this pair. Fake out with this pair. Let me see. I don't really like I don't like AUD USD right now. It's not off giving some clear moves. Again, you know me, if I do not see clear moves in the markets, I don't really trade it. This is a good structural level, but then it had that fake out that happened here. So I won't really bother much about this pair until it settles. Right now, all of this is just messy. Just messy for me, unless you want to drill down to the lower time frame to just kind of see what to trade, but don't force to see a pair. If you can't see something clearly, then really no point looking. Just go to where you can see something clearly, so you can easily take a trade and not lose it. So, but this is what I'm seeing now with this pair. So let's see it break out of this range. It's a very weird range per se. At that fake out. So yeah, I would say leave this pair alone. Let it do its thing. Let it set up itself and do what it needs to do. And then you can, when it's all settled, you can look at it again. But for now, I wouldn't be looking at this pair. One other pair that I wanted us to look at is USD CAD, because I know this is one pair that was a painful pair for me, because I was really, really looking forward to this pair, but it didn't give out what we expected it to give out. So it jumped out and it didn't do a retest and just surged. And although I know I said it, that when it does that, don't chase it. Let it go. Just let it go. And a number of times when you chase the market, you regret it because it fakes you out. Okay, so I just want to rush this. I didn't want it to be beyond 11 o'clock. Okay, so this is where we are. Daily time frame. Let me see. Smaller time frame. What are we? Okay. I used to start on my weekly. What? Okay, it's pretty much all right. So, what's the H4 saying? Excuse me. Okay, so this is where we see rejections on the higher time frames here. I mean, on the upper side, we saw that consolidation that happened, and then price decided to break to the upside, tested it, and then what did it do? Came right back in, broke out of it to the downside. It's a really crazy move. Broke out of the range to the downside and kept going up and down. So there's a rejection happening here, and then once that rejection, it went up to that level, through a very massive pin. This would have kicked people out. This was a giant stop. What's it called? Stop loss hunt. Kicked people out of that trade. Because if I was gonna, probably would have put my stop loss somewhere here, and then what did it do? Smashed it and then got me out. So on through a pin, and then what did it do? Dropped massively down to this side. Now, what are you seeing it do again? Something similar. got there through a massive pin, and then I think it might be coming down. So just have that at the back of your mind. This might be a pair to jump in, and let me see if you can even see the structural level broke out, retest, all of that. So I'm gonna map this out like this so that we can watch it. But also remember it does fake out and does stop hunts as well. So this may be levels a trade you might want to put into consideration. So if you're gonna trade it, look for smaller levels also to increase your trade positions. Smaller levels, maybe to add more pairs. To add more positions in terms of your lot sizes and stuff. So yep, if I'm gonna enter this, I'm gonna look for I'm gonna look for like a flag to form out of this, or a bearish engulfing candle, some form of flag or some form of pullback, and then I will take that trade. So some form of flag or pullback, then I'll take that trade to the downside. Yep, so that would be my guy here, my TP, but I'm really looking for it to come down to this level, but I'm going to be conservative first, let it get here and just kind of move my stop loss and see what it's going to do. If it moves out, then wait for it to break out, kind of do some form of pullback, and then you can ride it to the downside. So if this trade moves well, we should be seeing a massive 130, 140 pips for this pair. Then if it keeps coming down, this is our trade right there. This is our trade right there. But bear in mind, you have these levels. Remember, always look left. Always look left. Very, very, very key. Always look left. So those levels are potential resistance levels, support levels, for you to look at. Yep, but this is a demand zone. Here is a demand zone. Here's another demand zone. Here's another demand zone. Creating demand zone, another demand zone. So yeah. So see, I'm gonna wait for, if this doesn't happen, I'm gonna wait for this to break above and then go back up here. But I'm more biased to the downside. But I don't know how far it's gonna go for returns, but if not, I think it's just gonna jump up and then go to the bearing in mind that the US dollars has just been surging, so you want to also put that into consideration. If the dollar doesn't make this go up, the CAD could do that. CAD could jump. If CAD is bullish as well, it could throw it up. Then if the CAD is stronger in terms of its movements and it's going down, then it's going to drag it, even though the USD, the dollar is going up, or even though USD JPY goes up. If CAD is really strong, it could drag it down. So that's another thing to also put into consideration. There's so many elements. Okay, so I'm going to stop this session for now. I would do the rest of the other pairs that I have not touched. Anyone that I would maybe like GBP, JPY, maybe USD chef, and some other ones and particularly I will look at NZD as well, because I know in fact, let me just look for Euro NZD USD, one of the cheapest ones. Yeah, and then we can look at that, because we have NZD USD news tomorrow, Sunday. So let's go to the weekly. So let's pretty much just get a picture of what may happen in the market. Don't like this pairs look, but who am I to judge a pair? So I'm just gonna let it look at it. So I'm gonna do that. So assuming that this is a key structural level. Yep. Structure, no structure, breaks out, retests, breakouts, retest, which also happens to be a key support level. So if that pair breaks down, let's go in here. Come on, let's go in here. If it breaks down further, it's gonna keep coming down. Why is it not clicking? Yeah, it breaks down further, but it's just so many pins. Just looks so weird. So I wouldn't really like to consider trading this one. You know. So, but if that doesn't happen, then it may be going back up. Some other levels that we may see in the market will probably be something like this. These levels. Okay, so yeah. So those are things to watch. These are some levels to look for if you're going to trade the NZD USD. Yep. If you're going to trade the news, just look at it. This is where it is. It's sometimes the news just helps the technicals. So it came here rejected and going, or it may bounce off here before dropping back up, back down, or it may break above and go here. So just put that into consideration as you're going to be trading the news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's outlook. If I see anything in the market, any new thing I want you to familiarize yourself with to know, I'm just gonna send it. But as of now, I'm preparing a different strategy for us, and I'm probably gonna launch it sometime soon, maybe next couple of days. So that we can start putting them into consideration into our trading plan. So thank you very much, everyone, and do have a fantastic night. God bless. Peace out.